Hey, what's up, guys? I just got back from the Fargo, North Dakota Regional, where I placed second. It was 7 rounds. I ended up going 6-1, and my only loss was against Yummy Fiendsmith. And the only reason I lost is because he had the Fiendsmith package in there. But it was my buddy, so I'm glad if I was going to lose, it was going to be to him. I was tied in points with the person who was in first. He just had a better tiebreaker, so I ended up getting second. So we got the Sky Striker Zero Matt for winning, or for coming in second, coming in top 8, and then the orange deck box. Yeah, so let's jump into the deck profile. I was on Vanquish Canine. I don't think it's the best deck in the format. I think that title kind of goes to Yummy, but I think it is the most fun and interactive. So I really enjoyed it. I will plan to probably stay on this for a while. So to start, we have our 3 Rosin, the best starter in the deck. This card is insane. And then we have the 3 Mad Love. These are the cards you really want to see in your opening hand. Usually if one of these resolves, you end up winning. What you usually do is whichever one you do not have in your hand, you end up summoning off of Holy Stew. Then we have the 3 of Holly Stew. This card is insane. This is the best card in the deck. It is a Snatch Steal, or it is a special summon out of the deck. This card is a turn 0 card, so you can summon it on your opponent's turn if you have the right attributes, and it is absolutely insane. Like I said, by far the best card in the deck. After that, we have only 2 Jiaolong, so I opted to only play 2 just because I kept finding myself bricking on them. I did miss the extra fire. You know, it kind of came up. There's a couple games where I'm playing without access to a fire, but usually you can kind of make your way there. The only match I lost was because I had 2 Jiaolong in hand and no normal summon. So I opted for 2. Just feels a little bit more consistent, less bricky. After that, we were on the 1 Heavy Borger. This card's great. I mean, being able to dodge stuff is great, but you don't need more than 1. Again, it is another brick. If you don't have a starter, this card does absolutely nothing. And then just being able to burn in time. Had to do it a couple times. So just great having such an easy built-in time card. And then after that, we have our Caesar. This card is insane. You don't need more than 1, but you want to try to keep this in hand, bouncing it back and forth, just to be able to interact with your opponent, because you can make him a towers basically by revealing Earth, so it's unaffected by your opponent's card effects, which is really great into Yummy. They'll try to book it or try to bounce it with surprise. You just make it unaffected, and then you're just sitting on a body and make that interaction really neg for your opponent. And then being able to reveal all 3 attributes to non-target destroy a card on field is really great. So a lot of times, if you get this out, you reveal Earth, you make it unaffected. In the draw phase, when the Snatchy cannot activate its effect, with Yummy, you reveal the 3, and then you can non-target pop a card, usually maybe trying to take out the Snatchy or, the field spell. After that, we have our 3 Stake Your Soul. This is your best extender in the deck, by far. It can be a starter too. It's really great. A lot of times, if you're trying to hold on to your normal summon to play through interactions, being able to start with Stake Your Soul is really great. So definitely have to play it at 3. It's the best extender and one of the better starters. After that, we have the Field Spell. This card is great. Makes things like Mitsurugi or any kind of board wipe not feel bad. And then just being able to set the trap and search the missing attribute you need is great. And then we just have the Snow Devil. This card is insane. A lot of times you just sit on this, and then your opponent has to play extremely awkward, and then most of the time I'll try to use this in the battle phase, or I'll try to let them commit as much as they can. When they start to try to push battle, I will Snow Devil. Yeah, just being able to board wipe is amazing. This is great, especially in a Yummy if they like Obedience School or something. Super great. After that, we're jumping on the Canine package. So I opted to only run 2 Azuna, and the reason is because she is an Earth, and I just kept finding myself opening multiple of this. It's really great to have, but when you're going first, I mean, you only need one. I don't know. It's a great card, but I don't know. I would much rather see a Holly Sue in hand than an Azuna. And she's searchable, so just searching her and during the combo and just putting pressure on your opponent that way is really great. But yeah, only opted for 2 just because she's an Earth, and Earth is not real in this deck. You usually do not want Earth. After that, we have the 1 Lupus. He's kind of a brick. If your opponent doesn't do anything, he kind of sucks to have in hand, but he's like Azuna, he can summon himself from hand, so he's not a total brick. Drew him a couple times, but it's like I said, it's not the end of the world. He is also an Earth. If Azuna and Lupus were fires or darks, they would be so much better. After that, again, keeping the package extremely small, we are running the 1 Jokel. And I know this card can kind of unbrick hands, but I don't know. I don't like seeing multiple of it. It being a dark attribute is great, but I don't know. There were times when I was in testing that I would open 2 or 3 of this card in the same hand, and it just felt really bad. So just trying to slim it down where I would, can see other cards. And then, you can always search him during the combo. So a lot of times you go Ripper, search Case. Case will search this, and then this can summon Holly Soup from hand. So it's not like you have to open him. After that, we have the 1 Lantern. This card's great. Pulls 1 from the grave. And then it can search you a spell. So you either search Case, but most often you'll search the rank up spell. And then for the spells, again, we got Case, just a searcher, and then gives the 900 attack boost if your opponent activates a monster effect in hand or graveyard. And then we have the rank up spell. This card is a little bit of a brick, but sometimes the surprise factor can really shock your opponent and cause them to misplay. And it's searchable through the combo or sets itself. But yeah, this card's insane. Being able to rank up on your opponent's turn to non-target pop a card on field, and then go into a werewolf is great. And then being able to reset itself if a canine monster battles, or if your Case for Canine gets destroyed, is great. A lot of times you just go into a werewolf on your turn and attack 3 times and push for game. So super good. It's board breaker and just goes into an insane boss monster. For hand traps, we are on the 3 Fua. I think Fua is so much better than Perulia in this format. Perulia is only really hitting, Rogue and the Canine decks. So Fua is great. It's great into Yummy, great into Draco Tail, and it is still great into Canine. So it just puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. So yeah, I decided to main deck it. You get like very limited amounts of spots in the main deck for non-attribute hand traps. So I think Fua Loss is the best one to dedicate to that. After that, we have the 3 Ash Blossom. It's a fire attribute, stops Charmies, can disrupt your opponent. Yeah, nothing much more to say about that. Everybody knows how insane Ash Blossom is and how necessary it is with the Charmies running around. So for one of hand traps, we are running the 1 Nib. I have a second one in the side. This is really just for the Yummy matchup, or a lot of times in the VS Canine you can get the Ripper to burn its negate, so then you can do your Holly Sue or whatever you need to do. Yeah, I think this card is great in this format. It's really great into Yummy, especially if they Obedience School, because then they can't Link Spider, and I think a lot of Yummy people have been cutting Link Spider lately. So yeah, just running the 1 in the main. Then we have the 1 Phantasme, just to dig deeper. It's great into Yummy because they have to summon their Link 1. And then it's just a big body on field with targeting protection. So yeah, it's great into Yummy. couple times this would just come out. I would normal summon Rosin to check with no effect to check their Snatchy, and then go push battle. They try to activate their Snatchy. You just chain Rosin to destroy it, and then you just take out whatever synchro they have on field, or if they have another little body on field, you take it out. So, and then we have the Magma Hut. This card's good against Yummy, trying to hit their minion target and then hope they don't have an extender, or if one of their synchros tags out, hitting the Snatchy, or even just taking out one of the synchros from play because they are one-ofs. So yeah, it's really good into that matchup. Sometimes it's good into VS K9, like if they're trying to add back a Mad Love for the combo. Yeah, it's good, and it searches you or Caesar for free, which is nice. And then we have the one-off Shifter. This card is pretty much a win con. I drew it a few times. Every time I drew it, I won, besides one time. And that was just because my hand was just trash. But yeah, I opened this 2 games in a row against Draco Tail, and I felt very bad about it. But that's the name of the game. After that, we have the consistency cards. So we have the one-of Pot, Prosperity, and then we have the 2 Extrav. I like this card. It's nice. I only got to resolve it a couple times. One time though, I banished all 3 of my rocks. The next time I banished all 3 of my rippers. And then the third time, I got good banishes, but I drew the other Pot of Extravagance and a Fool Loss off of it. So, you know, high risk, high reward. It definitely helps with the consistency though. And then we have the 1 Rhoda, just your 4th copy of Rosin. And then I opted to run Called By in the main. I know a lot of people are citing this, but decided to put it in the main. Hits certain matchups, hits hand traps. It's great. So 40 cards in the main. I think the deck ran really consistently. I was really happy with how it performed. Like I said, I only had 1 match where I bricked, and that was against Yummy Fiendsmith. So I'm a big fan of it. Next run into the extra deck. We are running the 3 Rock of the Vanquisher. You have to run 3 if you're running extra. This card is too important. Like I said, I did banish it in 1 game, banish all 3. I still ended up winning it. It was against a Yummy match, and I was just having to grind, just sitting on a big Caesar and just trying to outgrind the opponent and trying to catch them misplaying. After that, we do have the 1 Rocks. Went into this a couple times just to make the SP play. Trying to target minion or target, you know, any problematic cards on the field or graveyard. So it's good. I like it. I don't think you can cut this card. I think a lot of people want to cut this card, but it just makes your rock a free SP. So after that, we are on the 3 Ripper. This is your 2nd most important card, other than your Rock of the Vanquisher. So you need 3 just for extra to not banish all 3 of them like me. This card searches any of your K9 cards. And then a lot of times, I'll go into Ripper. I'll search like a Lantern, bring one of them back, go into the 2nd Ripper, and then just rank up into the Werewolf, have 3 materials, and then just attack for a game. So it's really great. I was really sad anytime I banished more than 1, but you know, it's great. After that, we have the 1 Werewolf. This card is insane. This is like one of the most insane boss monsters. You rank it up, you get the non-target pop with the spell card with the rank up spell. And then it can attack 3 times, or as many material as you have underneath it. If you can get more material underneath it, you can attack more than that. But it's a big body, gets up to 42 with the case for K9 if it's on field and they've activated an effect. And then on your turn, your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard. It can banish a card on field and or in the graveyard. So you can banish 2. And then on your turn, you can just rip a card out of their hand, get a full hand knowledge, rip a card, and then banish it till the end phase. So super great. One of the most insane boss monsters. And then after that, we are on the 1 Hound. I know a lot of people don't like this card and a lot of people don't play it. I think this card is kind of insane, honestly. It's basically just the towers the turn it's summoned. It gets massive against Yummy. Yummy can't out it because it'll have a Lupus underneath it, so it can't be targeted. and then it can't be destroyed by card effects or battle. The turn is summoned, so you just end on an Azuna and Lupus on field, and then on your opponent's turn, you just go Lupus into a Hound, and then you just sit on it. You let it get massive. They can't out it. On your turn, you attack with it, and then you just go into a Giant Zeus. So great, super great. And then it banishes a card in the standby phase, so you can just try to hit the minion or make them burn their surprise. So super great. And this card's great into Draco Tail. That's where I get its most use. I let Draco Tail do their full combo, and then when they set all their cards and they try to go to end phase, I will go Azuna, dump Lupus come back, go into Hound, sit on the Hound into my next standby phase, and then just banish whichever trap is more problematic, whether it's the Compulse or the Spell Negate. After that, we are running the Nash Knight package. So we have the 1 Nash Knight, the C104 Masquerade, the CXZ's Nash Knight, and then the Umbral Horror Masquerade. This card is amazing. Super nice for removal. This card kind of sucks. I paid $100 for it though, so it's staying in the deck. Honestly, every time I went into this, it was literally just for the Spell Trap pop. And he's a big body, he's 3k. This card is so easy to play around for most decks, like Draco Tail. They just change their chain, or they manage their chain links so this can't respond. And then they just pop it, or they negate it with Mululu. And then Yummy, it doesn't remove the body, so they just take the burn, and then they just go full combo. Whereas like Nash Knight actually removes the body. This card actually destroyed as well. It would be much better. After that, we have the 1 of SP. Gotta play it. Super nice. You gotta banish the minion somehow. And then after that, we have the Zeus. I actually don't think I went into this card one time. Most of the time, it ended up getting banished off Extrav, but it's super nice to know you have. And then it does put a lot of pressure on your opponent, especially if you keep the Lupus underneath it somehow, so it can't be targeted. So it's super nice. And then after that, we'll jump into the side deck. And my side deck is super weird. It's a lot of 2-ofs, and it's just because the format is just so wide right now without the ban list. So we're running 2 Perulia and 2 Droll for our main hand traps in the side deck. Perulia is okay this format. I don't think it's great. It'll go in against certain matchups, but most of the time I don't even opt to put it in. I almost didn't even play this. I almost played 2 Bells instead, but decided to run the Perulia. And then Droll. Droll is to kind of just respect Mitsu because it is still a thing. It does have some application into like K9 Christian, but like Draco Tail and Yummy don't really care. But it is good into the mirror. After that, we have the 2 Lancia. You still have to respect Malice. This card is okay. It goes in against Christian or Lunalight as well, so it does have some little bit wider variety that you can use it. But as soon as Malice if Malice gets its on the ban list, I'll probably switch these out for 2 Ghost Spell or 2 Spell Breakers or something like that. After that, we have the other Phantasme and the other Nib. So a lot of times I will just swap out the ones in the main deck. So it'll be like 2 Phantasme and then 2 Nib, or 2 Nib in the main and then side it out to the 2 Phantasme, depending on what's better in the matchup. Or if you're going against Yummy, you just put both Phantasme in and both Nibs. After that, we have the 2 Book. You could have maybe argued to play this at 3. It's just hard. There's just not a lot of space. But yeah, this card is great. It's great into Yummy. It's great into any of the Vanquish matchups or K9 matchups. Doesn't really do great into Draco Tail, but it's still a really good breaker, this format. After that, we have our 2 Thrust, and then we have our 2 Thrust targets. I decided not to play Talents. Every time I put Talent in my deck, I would just brick on it and I'd have no way to make my opponent activate a monster effect. Or I would draw the Thrust and the Talents and then have no way to make them activate their effects. So I just decided to cut it. I think it's only relevant going first if you can do the hand rip on turn 0 for the hand knowledge, but I don't think it's really great this format, to be honest. And then we have the one of there can be only one, and this is just kind of a win con. And usually if you can resolve this, you just win. Yummy can't play through this. Christian has a hard time playing through this. Dracotail kind of can play through it, but it definitely makes it a lot harder. I didn't end up drawing this a single time, but it's nice to know it's there. So yeah, that's the deck. Like I said, 40 in the main. I don't think I would change anything. I think it did exactly what it needed to do. I only bricked once, and I think that's just kind of what happens. You know, it's part of the game. Yeah, super happy with how it did. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, or you want to see any kind of combos, please let me know. Bye.